After Swami Shivananda's 60th birthday, Menon would spend 3 months living the ashram life at Anandakutir, Rishikesh. He then returned to Delhi to continue his career. He took with him a bundle of books from the Divine Life printing press, all written by Swami Shivananda. These books included commentaries on various scriptures, his public lectures, discussions and talks. Menon read these with eagerness and fervor. As a result, his journalistic writings now began to focus increasingly on spiritual matters. He started writing reviews of spiritual books quite a bit. Here is a sample of a review he wrote in the National Herald after reading Swami Shivananda's Philosophy and Teachings book. The striking feature in this Swami's works seems to be his almost contagious self-confidence and convincing methods. He proves to be one who has not only studied the Prasthanatraya, the 3 sacred texts, but has actually lived them to a degree of perfection not yet known to have been achieved by any except the ancient saints and sages who have now become mythological characters to us. For the next 6 months, Menon continued to divide his time between Rishikesh and Delhi. He would go up to Rishikesh for regular spiritual camps conducted by Swami Shivananda. Menon would use these camps to clarify his ideas and improve his understandings of the books he read. Swami Shivananda loved thinking of new ways to present the truths to his disciples. Once, he organized a short drama from the life of Gautama Buddha. The story was this. An extremely saddened mother comes to Buddha holding her dead child in her arm, begging for the child's life to be restored. The Swami selected Menon to play the role of the distraught mother. Like anything he took on, Menon did this with perfection too. Pretending to be a woman with a cloth bundle baby in his arms, he put on an extensive display of weeping and wailing that the whole audience exploded into laughter. Swami Shivananda was extremely delighted. "The best I've seen," he declared, wiping the tears off his eyes. And when a special guest arrived at the ashram, he would command a repeat performance from just Menon, who gladly obliged. Finally, Menon asked Swami Shivananda about the possibility of initiation into sannyasa. But to his surprise, the Swami advised him to wait. "There is no hurry, Menon. Let's give you enough time to be sure that this is a true desire and not some temporary frustration with the worldly life." That was another example of the Swami's clairvoyance, because an event would occur in the near future that would further solidify Menon's desire to go beyond the material world. It had to do with a dear friend of his. Menon had to make frequent trips to Delhi because of his concern for his longtime friend Shroff, who was suffering from a terminal illness. Seeing his friend's immense suffering, Menon felt really helpless. He would write later, "Each time I ran down to the bedside of my dear friend, who was suffering endlessly from a mortal disease, the more I was confirmed in my conviction that wealth, position, loving parents, wife, child, all of these might be there, as Shroff himself had achieved, but nothing of the world can really console, comfort, and stand by you when you are suffering. Life is empty and shallow without the inner expansion, the inner depth. This inner wealth alone can reinforce you against the sledgehammer strokes of destiny." After years of suffering, Shroff had finally taken his last breath. The body was cremated according to the Hindu customs. His father, being old and unwell himself, requested Menon to take on the responsibility of dispersing his son's ashes in the holy Ganga. Menon agreed. The next morning, Menon entered the first-class compartment of a train, where he would spend the next 24 hours alone with the sole remains of his friend, who had been a vibrant and intelligent companion. The ashes were sealed in a small pot and carefully secured in the overhead rack. Menon tried to read to pass the time, but his attention kept being diverted to the pot overhead. He and Shroff had passed many hours in a compartment like this coming down from Lucknow University. This one recurring thought kept circulating through his mind. The man who is usually with me is now in that small basket, as few bones and ashes are all that remain. Flesh and life are gone. Flesh and life are gone.